Okay, Islam cheating away by Bay. Islam and which American nation Islam. It is November the 8th, 2025, and I just arrived here from Whole Foods. My schedule is from 9 to 4:30, but because there were so many people, I asked could I leave early. It's the day when I want to talk about is yesterday how I know some form of AI is stalking this apartment, and also that the United States unnaturalized military and police are that are Black, Negro, African American are literally following me through a science with the telepathic code, Imani 2 in this apartment, and how it's interesting. Through the years, I've heard the people here, different people, not all, say we're going to marry them, marry her, and then look at me, or marry them, and or then start saying she love your son, or speak about how something loves my son, in a Black Negro accent somewhere through the science of that the telepathy is stalking or somewhere close by and start speaking where I can hear because it's some form of AI, humanoid AI. So the thing is, what's interesting is that I spoke about um, how the Blacks here, not all, but too many have like a buck plantation behavior. When I say buck, like plantation behavior is um, if if I'm sleeping and I wake up because a Black Negro male is trying to have sex with me, and or the Black Negro female that's stalking Imani and others, or some form of it, or it could be Spanish speaking or whatever, um, some form of humanoid AI, definitely. And other probably mixture of lab experiments are using the telepathic code to stalk Imani and I, a science that the military is abusing. And if they are trying to breed because of the telepathic kids that exist, that's nothing but a buck. That's pure plantation thoughts. That's plantation plantation thoughts. And so once again, Maryland is one of the states that has a history, documented history by historians of breeding when the so-called plantations before they disappeared, like they really disappeared. Obviously, they haven't. Were breeding the slaves, men with their daughters, mothers with their son, and so to get them to have sex with one another, so they can have that stock, they would cover their heads with a bag so that they can get aroused and penetrate one another, or however they want to do it. So that's exactly the behavior and energy that's here in Annapolis. And it's also interesting that they still have in Annapolis, as far as I know, I can check. I don't think they tore it down. They still have the port where supposedly some type of um, monument for the man that created the movie Roots, named Alex Haley. Alex Haley created this movie called Roots that dealt with slavery, and they still have a monument here. In what as far as I know, they still teach about slavery here, being among humanoid AI and the Black Negro, male and female, stalking our apartment and using the science and other Spanish speaking, like I said, Spanish speaking accents here, saying Birdman and saying nigger, stuff in that sort of manner. Um, Pale skins, hearing them say three. So it's interesting that Annapolis, with the United States Navy and Army prevalent, and other military branches prevalent. Okay, they have the bases here, Air Force. They do these things with the airplanes flying around and showing what they can do. So that they have the port, they have given some type, they still have the monument up, as far as I know, as of today, 11, November the 11th, the 8th, November I'm sorry, November the 8th. The day is the 8th, 2025. I think I said it wrong. I hope I said it right. November the 8th. Today is the 8th, 2025. And today is Saturday. And through history, as far as I know, if they still have the monument up, they still teaching um this form of slavery, as in pity and empathy for the so-called slaves that came here, and that monument giving some form of recognition to Alex Haley and his descendants. Because what I remember Morris has said, that Alex Haley's descendant came here looking for Annapolis, looking for history about his family, and he couldn't find anything in the courts where humans were being recorded. He had They had to pull up his name and his family line, where they kept the animals, the livestock, recorded. It was not in the recording district where humans were being recorded. So when they pulled up livestock and property of that sort, animals, that's where he found his name. This is what I remember some wars were teaching about. Now, I didn't do research about it, but this is wars that seem to, when it comes to history, that I have noticed when I have done research, they have been right on it. So now, at first, when you would hear, you would think, if they putting humans where the livestock, you like, now how degrading is that? But we are among animals. I'm not saying Alex Haley's descendants is an animal, but I'm telling you, we are among animals here in Annapolis. Lab experiments. And if we are among lab experiments now, they did them back then. It went further than breeding the father with their mother. Or the father with their daughter, with his daughter, the mother with her son. It went much deeper. They were probably dealing with all types of DNA mixture of animals with animals, and other forms of technology that we didn't know about, just like they are now. Because when you have people saying marry her, this is what they used to do during plantation, supposedly plantation times. They saying this here in Annapolis, and look my way. Marry her. And that is a plantation buck thought. That's exactly the energy here. And so when you have humanoid AI that's in the unnaturalized Navy and Army, police, and other military branches, or other forms of authority, or just or foreign, they could be foreign, from definitely foreigners from China or other so-called Asian countries, so-called Asian countries. I've remembering some of the teachings I've learned from Moors about what is real, what is the true Asia. And it's not China, so it's not Japan. It's not this day. It's not this modern. It's not modern day China, and it's definitely not modern day Japan. So it's not North Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, or South Vietnam. Is not that. But they still use the word Asians quite a bit when you see someone with the slanted eyes and a different look than a lot of places, and speaking Mandarin, Mandarin, and Kamalian. It's, I think I'm saying there's two languages I learned that China speaks in China. Mandarin, and the other one, it starts with a C, but it has a cut, it's like Kamala. I don't remember how to pronounce it. But it's that it is, and when you hear them talk, if they are definitely a different dialect in hearing them talk. And what I find interesting is at Whole Foods here, where the United States military, Navy, and Army, especially on Saturdays, they're there a lot. They come in, they buy food here. Um, when I was at Burger King, same thing, and even at Burger King, I'm going to say the reason why I'm saying this is I was like, people that are not, that don't look like they're from China, Japan, they look pale skin, they just nod in their heads, when they speak, nod in their heads, like China, like you would see Buddha. And I was, I just try to keep my head still. At first, especially at Burger King, um, I didn't. The owners of the store, her name is well, I have to say her name, but she told me she was Chinese American. So for people to come in and nodding their heads, it was still odd because it seemed like they were definitely trying to connect somehow and get me to nod my head too and give that energy to China. But I was just like, okay. And I didn't, I don't know. I didn't take it so seriously until when I had